Shalom. We'll start by giving our praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makar Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to the awfully elect that are speaking this word in the four corners, the highways and byways. Once again, our praises, glory, and honor is due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makar Kodash. This is a brother Zakaria here with another lesson. Alright. And as you could see from the from the title of this news article, it says man seeking immortality diagnosed with incurable disease. All right, and those of the Most High doing. All right, because first and foremost, the issues of death belongs to the Most High. All right, and immortality is only for the elect. All right, on this side. All right, so hey, don't get it twisted. These Edomites, always, after the things that belongs to the Israelites. All right, the scriptures say what they wanna be like the Most High. All right, they wanna search out all the hidden things. Hey, but there are certain things that is not given on to them, and the knowledge of immortality, which basically is the scriptures. All right, because the scriptures say what wisdom is immortality. I might, let me see if I could get the real quick. So this is one of it, right? It says wisdom of Solomon 18, Salakia, wisdom of Solomon 8 and verse 17. It says, now when I considered these things to myself, and I pondered them in mine heart, how that to be allied unto wisdom is immortality. All right, so these scriptures really is the secret to immortality. All right, because the scriptures say what when men all obeyed, all right, the generations were healthful. But with sin came what? Came diseases and sickness and death. All right, and that's the reason why we wouldn't die in the kingdom. On this side we're gonna die like men, but once the kingdom hit and we in perfect order, we won't be dying. All right, let me get hey, but the point is, these Edomite really shouldn't be wrestling with these things. All right, because the Most High retain the unto himself, unto his elect men. All right, the power to heal. It says what in the book of Isaiah, I Yahweh heal and make alive. I wound and I kill. So all these things belongs to the Most High. Right? This is Psalm 68 and verse 20. It says, he that is our power is the power of salvation, and unto Yahweh the Lord belongs the issues from death. All right, so it is all up to the Most High when you die, or when you get healed. All right, whatever the case may be, and also by which method you die by. All right, because the Most High is in control of all these things. And this is Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 39, it says, "See now that I, even I, am He, there is no God with me. I kill." Yeah, and that is the point, all right? These Edomites, they want to be like the Most High so bad, all right? They want to be in control of everything, but the Most High will never give them His glory. That's the Most High glory, all right? To create, to put down, all right? To heal, that's the Most High power, all right? Why would He share that? Why would He give anyone any sort of, praise in that department, All right? Because, the Creator is always going to be more powerful than His creations, Right? He says, "I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal." Yeah, and that is it. So the Most High wound this fella right now, and it's all up to the Most High to heal him. If he so wishes or if he so pleases. All right. All right. So hey, you taking all these, spending all these millions of dollars on bioactin, so-called bioactin, all right, to prolong your days, to feel more youthful in your 40s or whatever, it's not gonna, it really doesn't warrant anything, all right? Especially not with the Most High, right? Because the Most High could take you out at any point, I continue, and it says, "I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand." All right? So you can't save yourself either. No one could save you out of the hand of the Most High. All right? Because what it says, let's read it. It says, "Man seeking immortality, diagnosed with incurable disease." You see? So it's an incurable disease. There's no known cure for it. All right? And that's what it means when it says no one could deliver out of my hand. That's a perfect example, right? Even if this was a curable disease, the Most High could still make it, kill you. All right? You're trying to be like the Most High. All right? Let me read a little bit of the article. It says, millionaire, entrepreneur, and self-described bioactor Brian Johnson, who has spent millions of dollars in an ambitious effort to slow aging and extend human life, has revealed that he has been diagnosed with autoimmune gastritis, an incurable condition in which the body immune system mistakenly attacks the lining of the stomach. All right, so the Most High corrupt your body. All right, and don't get it twisted. This is 100% of the Most High doing. All right. It says Johnson, founder of the anti-aging initiative known as Blueprint, disclosed the diagnosis in a recent update, describing it as an unexpected setback in his years-long pursuit of optimal health. The condition causes chronic inflammation of the stomach lining and can interfere with the body's ability to absorb essential nutrients, including vitamin B and iron, left unmanaged, it can increase the risk of anemia and in some cases stomach cancer. All right. Yeah, so basically the Most High wounding him with this disease. All right. Because here you are, trying to be like the Most High, you know. And who knows what crazy shit he was investing in, what crazy shit, unlawful shit he was doing, all right, to attain so-called immortality, which he could never attain immortality, all right, because it's just not for him, all right. All right, when you follow the laws and statutes of the Most High, that's when you attain immortality. All right. The scriptures say, which one of you could add a stature by taking thought, so hey, you took thought, all right, you had everything well planned out, a morning routine, all right, an evening routine, a diet, a perfect diet, a perfect sleep routine, all these things that he was doing. But guess what? The Most High still diminish his stature. All right. And this goes to show that everything is up to the Most High. All right. If you don't believe now you best believe it. If you don't believe that the Most High control these things, you're just being ignorant. All right. This is Ecclesiastes 9. Ecclesiastes 9 and verse 12. It says, for man also knoweth not his time, as fishes are taken in an evil net, as the birds that are caught in a snare, so are the sons of man snared in an evil time. All right. So there's the case with not just this fellow, but in general, right? You see people fall sick, quote unquote, out of the blue, all the time, all right? Or some shit happen that is a major setback, all right? And hey, for brothers and sisters, all right, sincere brothers and sisters, this is the reason why you always got to give praise to the Most High, all right? You always got to give praise to the Most High for everything, because you don't know when it's going to be your time. You don't know the troubles that the Most High preserve you from, all right? You always got to ask the Most High for mercy, It says, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in a snare, so are the sons of men snared in an evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure with this fella, because I actually watched a documentary with him a little while back, All right. And he was saying, he was this close to figuring this out and figuring that out. You know, he was like 40 something. What is what you could say is health reports. It's used up for lack of a better term. All right, was showing as a someone in the early 20s, even though he was like 40 something, right? You know, so the most I put this disease on him, and guess what? He snared in an evil time, you know? All right? Yeah, and it's just like that out of the blue. All right? This is continuing in Ecclesiastes 9. I jump to verse 16. It says, I read verse 15, Salakia. Now there be found in it a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom deliver the city, yet no man remember that same poor man. All right. The reason why I read this scripture is because a poor man wisdom could save a city. All right, wisdom could save a city. Let alone a single individual in the city. All right. If you want to be in good health, just listen to the men of GMS. Great Millstone. All right. The apostles and elders and brothers all the way on down always give perfect health tips, on things we should be doing, things we should be eating, herbs that you could be taking, all right, how you should be sleeping and these things, you know. But hey, we is the poor man that, everybody don't remember, because a lot of us have family members, and associates in the world that we will give L tip to, and it will help them a lot. And then shortly after, they return back to the same thing that they was doing, Verse 16, it says, then said I, wisdom is better than strength. All right. Nevertheless, the poor man wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. Right. Wisdom is better than strength, because if you just, strong and dumb, then your strength profit nothing. All right. But if you have wisdom, you could always stay ahead. All right. All right. And this guy is a perfect example, because he invested millions into his physical strength, right? Which if he had wisdom, he didn't have to invest millions, I mean, he's a most likely an Edomite, all right? But just saying, if he had wisdom, he would know that he didn't have to invest millions into attaining a very good health, All right. It says, yeah, that was pretty much it on this. All right. Um, Yeah, if he had wisdom, he would know that, basically everything that he's doing is a waste of time. All right. And this is why. This is James 4 and verse 14. It says, whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow. All right. Meaning tomorrow. None of us knows, what tomorrow is going to bring. Right. I'm sure this fellow went to sleep one day perfectly healthy, as he would describe, and then wake up the next day with a incurable disease. It says, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, then vanisheth away. Right? And this is from the viewpoint of the Most High. Our life is like a vapor. All right? And he could at any point choose to, extinguish the vapor. All right? Take out the fire. All right? Because he's the one that gave us that heat. All right? So, hey, again, immortality is for the elect. All right? And if you want to be in good health, just listen to the men of Great Millstone GMS. All right? All right, so hopefully this lesson was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. The salutation to the hopefully elect that is pushing this word. Four corners, the highways and byways. Once again, our praises, glory, and honor is due to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Kodash. Say shalom.